Hello and welcome back to my channel. I know some of you have voiced or shared with me that you're excited to join me on my journey on becoming an FNP, considering women's health as a specialty. And I wanted to just give you guys an update on where I am at this part of the journey. I anticipated on recording this video more like a congratulatory video, like, yay, I got accepted into so-and-so school. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So I recently applied to one of the top universities, anticipating on being accepted into a women's health nurse practitioner postmaster's certificate program. And actually I ended up applying for the dual program or dual degree for both the women's health postmasters as well as the DNP, the doctorate in nursing practice. And I didn't get into either program. Kind of a backstory. I applied late May. For most of you who know, college applications are usually open for early decisions somewhere in November. So I'm already 6 months behind in my application. And one thing, I initially applied to, or initially began my application on the women's health certificate program. So getting a DNP was not even on the radar for me. After starting my application a day or two later, I received an invitation to apply for the DNP program, in addition to the Women's Health NP Postmaster Certificate.
That's a lot. That's like a whole mouthful.
Anyhow, it was through an email, and it said something to the effect, "We see you began a master's program application. We strongly encourage you to consider applying for the DNP portion." So I thought about it for a few days. I considered the pros and cons of not only going back to school, getting additional NP degree because I'm already a family nurse practitioner, but adding on the extra debt, the extra studies that's required to complete this degree. I reached out to my undergraduate nursing educator, my professor in my undergrad program. And I'm thinking she has a doctorate in nursing with a strong women's health background. So I said, you know what, I'll reach out to her. She suggests I pursue it, then maybe it's a good idea. She's a DNP. She has a strong women's health background. Maybe bounce some ideas off of her. And it's ironic because this professor, she taught my women's health class in my undergraduate degree. And also she was a professor during the time of my matriculation in my graduate program. So it was pretty awesome to see her at graduation and to, you know, like relive the experience, but it's like seeing her baby grow up. It was kind of cool. So I shared with her my interests, my goals of becoming an expert in women's health. And I after putting together a strong application, I felt like I had really good references from doctorate degree levels and above, MDs, NPs, and I really felt like my application presented my broad nursing experience and that there was no way they wouldn't, you know, grant me a spot in the position. I'm already an NP, you see, I'm, you know, good GPA, all that stuff. I really did not anticipate in getting a rejection email. Anyhow, I interviewed with both the DNP dean and the NP program dean. And at the beginning of my interview, they kind of made it a point to explain to me that I didn't need a women's health degree or certificate in order to be successful in my career as a women's health NP, being that I already had my FNP degree. But I thought that was interesting, that was one of the first points that they made during my interview. Because my application, it strongly conveyed my interest in becoming an expert in women's health and how I wanted to gain the extra experience and clinical hands-on experience. And initially, when I began working on my application, it was solely for the entry or the admission into the Women's Health Postmasters program. So anyhow, I later decided to add on the DNP portion. So both the application and interview was heavily geared towards that the NP side of things, the DNP portion. So I don't know, while I was confident in my application, my references, my interview, when we got to the part about why I wanted to pursue my doctorates, I felt unprepared. I wanted to say in the middle of my interview,
I applied to the DNP portion because y'all encouraged me to. It's not something that I really, was gung-ho about.
However, I kind of reworded it, and why do you want to do DNP? It was like, it's a terminal degree. I love research. I really want to go out and be an expert in my field. I kind of pitched it in that direction. However, like I said, I was unprepared to answer those main questions regarding the DNP portion. And I really felt like I was sitting solely in the DNP interview, in which I was, because I later found out that the Postmasters or the women's health portion was already closed. So again, like I said, I applied in May, late May, and many of the other applicants, they applied early November. So the fall semester was already full, and they ended up telling me that, right now it's not open, consider the DNP. Many of the DNP programs, they like to see that you're working as an NP currently when applying to the program. And oftentimes they prefer that you complete your clinical hours and do your research within your current organization. Now, I work from home currently as an RN, in an RN position. So this would require me to find and secure affiliations with an organization where I can conduct my DNP research. I strongly believe that's what tipped the scale for me regarding my admission into the program. I do not currently have a specific organization that I wish to work with, nor did I have a solid research plan. So in any event, I do more research and I decide that I want to gain that DNP certification or that degree, and it's an absolute something that I want to achieve. I'll reapply next time, having a solid plan in place. But at this point, I am now beginning to apply to different companies as a new graduate NP, so I am seeking NP employment. However, I'm concerned that if I get into a position and it's not women's health, I'm afraid of getting complacent in that role. Time flying, you look up and it's like, dang, this is what I said I wanted to do, and all of these years I just let pass me by. And I don't know, I'm just concerned about it no longer being like a viable option for me to go into women's health, being, that I didn't do it right away. I'm not sure, you guys. So I'm not enrolling in school this fall. However, again, I am applying to NP positions with no prior experience here in the Houston area. Many say that the market is oversaturated and that it's harder to land a position with no prior experience. But I believe, everything happens for a reason, and usually right on time. I'm planning a major knee surgery, so that may happen in the next couple of months. And honestly, this position that I'm working right now as an RN, it would allow me the flexibility to heal and rehab my knee. And it won't be as demanding. I won't have to be up and on the go as often. So I don't know. I'm just, I guess, afraid that the more time that passes without getting hired as an NP will hurt my chances of gaining employment in the future. So the last thing I wanted to mention is I've been receiving care at the VA hospital in the Houston area, and my primary care provider, she actually, every time that I see her, she's like, did you apply to any NP positions yet? Because when I go into her, I ask a lot of questions, and I'm like, what about this? Have you tried this? And she's like, you're very, knowledgeable. Have you considered working here? And I'm like, yeah, but they won't hire me. So for some reason, I feel like my application keeps getting thrown back for the NP positions. However, she said, have you considered starting here as a RN, working as a nurse, maybe a year or two, and transitioning into the NP role? Because then at that point, I'm an internal candidate. Maybe it's easier for me to gain employment. So I've been applying to both NP and RN positions with the VA hospital in Houston. So I think that'll be a good opportunity to get back into the GS level positions, the government jobs. And I believe my 6 years of military experience will count towards retirement. And I have worked GS before, so not only do I have that prior experience, the master's degree, and also previous military experience, I believe I may be able to go in, honestly, and get pay close to, if not the same as a starter NP, but working in an RN role, because the VA, they pay you according to your time and education. So we'll see. So yes, I appreciate you all for joining me on this journey. I believe my experience in education is non-traditional, but I do feel a lot of it maybe answers some of the questions you guys have for your career, whether it's military nursing, student loan repayment questions, going from RN to an NP role, or even working in a specialty like women's health as an F&P. I'm excited about the journey, and I wish that you all would continue with me on this journey. And if you feel like it's something or that I can add value to what it is that you're trying to achieve, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. I'm just kidding, you guys. I watch a lot of YouTube, and it's like something that I hear a lot. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. I'd like you guys to join me on this journey. But I ask for you guys, have any of you have been in my position, have any recommendations on going into women's health as an F&P, no prior experience? How did you do it? What are some things that you can offer me? Or for those of you who are already an NP, maybe you're working in family health, do you feel like it is mandatory, like all nurse practitioners should start out in family health? I don't know, tell me what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys later.